This podcast is to serve as an overview of what we know about plot outlines and how we can apply that to Joseph Campbell's concept of the monomythic hero. And to do this, we really have to look at a distinction between the micro and the macro. And in the micro, we mean the microcosm. We mean the little world, the large made small, things condensed down into miniature, any kind of more complex human structures that are writ small as to be more understandable. And to contrast that, we really look at then the flip side of the coin, the macrocosm. And this is the great world, the large picture, the total universe, these overarching complex structures that are really the representation here. Now, how does that deal with anything that we mean with plot outlines? How does that deal with the monomythic hero? Well, first it's good to take a look at kind of refreshing our memory of what the traditional plot outline looks like. Might remember this from elementary school. Usually looks like kind of a linear thing. It's got a clear beginning and end point, and we usually start out with some kind of exposition, some kind of basic situation in which characters and circumstances are laid out. Then conflict is introduced. More events happen and ultimately rises to a climactic point with this conflict. And then we have falling action or denouement, in which the consequences are realized and then things close in resolution. But that's completely different from Campbell's monomyth. Campbell's monomyth would be not represented by a linear structure, at least not with hard edges and clear-cut things like that. Campbell's monomyth, he used the symbol usually like a circle with a line through the middle of it. And Campbell would look at his three stages, basic stages of the overall monomythic hero. And they are the separation, initiation, and return of the monomythic hero. Now, for Campbell, the hero leaves their known world. They leave the comfort zone, the home, and the world of knowledge, and they set out on their journey. And later on, then, the hero is initiated into their trials, into their conflicts, into their events, and the greater part of their story occurs. And that's when they cross that line of reality and the known, then they really have been initiated into their trials. But it's important that this is a circle. For Campbell's monomythic hero, the journey isn't complete until they have come back home, until they have returned, until they have shared what they've known, until their conflict has been made clear, until their boon is granted to society. The monomythic hero journey is not complete. And that's usually that last closing point of the circle. So hopefully this is giving you a little bit of idea of those two different structures. But again, to go back to that idea of micro and macro, the traditional plot outline is really more of like the microcosm, the hero and the small events plotted out. Whereas Campbell's monomyth is the macro. This is the bigger picture. This is how does the heroic story go on and how does it affect culture? How do these stories affect lives and civilization with it out? And it's important to note that it's not just the difference between the shapes, but their effects with that. So hopefully this is giving you a better idea of the microcosm, the macrocosm, traditional plot outlines, and a brief introduction to Joseph Campbell's monomythic hero.